Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Zach here, and today we are taking a look at the Donner DEP-20. This is actually a year-long review. So I've owned this keyboard for over a year now, and if you're like me, when Donner first came on the scene, when I first heard about them about a year and a half ago, I was like, hey, sketch, because that's our all default, right? We're just all cynical. So anyways, decided to buy the keyboard, give it a shot, take it through its paces and see what it has to offer. Surprisingly, it's not a bad board at all. And so recently I demoed the Yamaha P143 and the Roland FP10, and I wanted to give my thoughts on how it stacks up against those two. So let's dive right in. So now if you're new to the channel, I always do real world practical scenarios. So I talk about build quality, I talk about sound, and I also talk about extra features. So let's hop right into it. With the build quality, this is on par with the rest of them. It is a plastic, hard plastic chassis. So everything's wrapped in hard plastic. I've had it for over a year. There's no issues. I think there might be a small indent from one of my kids banging it, but it has stood the test of time. There's no issues. It works flawlessly. So build quality is a 10 out of 10, and it's definitely comparable with the Yamaha and the Roland. Now the keybed is arguably the most important part of any digital piano because that is where all the action happens. So out of the three, this would rank number 3, but it's not because it's a bad keybed. Obviously, Yamaha makes real acoustic pianos, so it's no surprise that they're my personal favorite. Although some people would argue that the Roland's PHA-4 hammer action is better. So that's very much a subjective preference, I think, between those two. This one right here is not so much subjective. There is a difference feeling-wise, quality-wise. When I play the Yamaha and the Roland, I feel like, okay, which one just, again, it's more of a preferential thing. Whereas this one, I feel like there's a quality difference. Again, not that it's bad. I've been using this for over a year. My kids have been using it over a year. There's no issues. It's just if I had to choose strictly on keybed alone, I think Yamaha would be my favorite. But yeah, it's just, you can tell that one's their step above. So will it stop you from learning? No, but it is not the greatest keybed experience like you would have on the Roland and the Yamaha. Now with that being said, let's talk about the sound quality. So this is a digital piano, and it's meant to be a digital piano. Are there other sounds on here? Yes, but the piano sound is the most important because that's its main bread and butter. So that's the piano sound. It sounds great, actually. I was kind of surprised by that. It's actually very usable, very passable, and it gives the necessary inspiration to want to play. So kudos and Donner for that one. There's nothing to complain about. I think at this price point, every piano is going to have something to gripe about. So it's really just pick your poison, so to speak. I think that Roland digital piano sound, they're not my favorite, but I still can play one just fine. Yamaha will probably be my favorite. This is actually probably my second in terms of sound quality. Go figure. So Yamaha YP P143 would be my favorite as far as sound of the piano. This would be my second. Roland would be third. So go ahead, drop a comment below on which one you think you would like the best or which one you do like the best. All right, moving on. Next is sound delivery. So sound delivery is really, really important because that's how we get the sound from here out, right? So we can hear it. So with the Donner, we've actually have the best sound delivery. Let me just put that out there right now. We've got awesome speakers that are built in that are very powerful and fill up the space just fine. They pack a nice punch. They fill either first or second in the loudness department, first or second. We also have on the backside 1/4 inch out and in, which is huge. Because Yamaha has it, this one has it, Roland does not have it, which is a massive miss in my opinion because there's no instrument that should miss the 1/4 inch out. you can't gig with it. And you don't talk to me about adapters. I even use an adapter and you can hear all the ground noise in the video. So I don't want to hear 1/4 inches or nothing. So this one has a 1/4 inch out and also has double headphone out, which has been actually a massive game changer, which is kind of funny because you would think it's such a simple thing, but having 2 headphone outs is actually pretty awesome for reasons I'll explain later. So as far as sound delivery, this is actually the best out of the 3 because you got double headphones out. You also have the 1/4 inch out, and then you also, it's separate because in the Yamaha you have a headphone out, which I use, but this has a separate headphone and 1/4 inch out. So kudos to Donner for that. And then of course you got the built-in speakers that are powerful. Okay, so last category are the features. Now, this is where Donner actually blows away the competition. And I never thought I'd be saying that, but this is actually a fully featured digital piano at this price point. And you're talking, you've got MP3 player backing track ability. So you plug in the thumb drive, load your backing tracks. That's huge. I practice with backing tracks all the time. And I encourage my students and give my students backing tracks to practice with because I believe in it that much. You also have a rhythm section. So in here, you can actually you actually have built-in grooves inside the keyboard. So you can play different types of grooves and there's different styles as well. That's huge. I can't tell you how many times I've heard my kids turn it on and just start jamming and playing with it. So you got the groove section. You also have a demo section. And the demo section is pretty awesome because it even has a Final Fantasy track in it, which I was blown away. So they got the demo section so you can hear the sounds, which I think all keyboards have demo section. But you also have effects in here. So I don't know if you noticed, but this piano has reverb. Now I can turn it off. Sounds great. So having the reverb on is just that extra little touch of polish, which comes built into the keyboard. Not only that, but you can split and layer sounds. So I'm like, wow. So you can split, layer sounds. You also have the drum machine built in, the metronome, and last but not least, certainly not least, is the ability to record. So you can record any feature. You can record anything. You can record anything and play it right back, which is huge because again, being able to songwrite, put down ideas, or more importantly, hear yourself practice. I can't stress how much enough you need to cut the metronome on, play, and then listen to yourself back. So without getting too far deep into it, this keyboard is a big shocker because I didn't expect it to hold up this well and I didn't expect it to be this functional. I reviewed one of their other keyboards, which I wasn't as impressed with. So this one was definitely, which is why I bought this one over the other one. But I just was surprised, you know, I haven't reviewed a Yamaha or an entry-level Yamaha or Roland in a while. And now seeing all 3 of these next to each other, I'm like, okay, Donner's here to play ball. So let's go ahead and just hop to the final thoughts and just kind of go over what I think about this keyboard in relation to the others as well, standalone by itself. Just all in all by itself, I think it's a great package. I really, really like the extra features. Most extra features are kind of gimmicky, which is why I don't really push them too much, but it's got backing track capability. I just can't stress, as somebody who makes backing tracks and practices with them all the time to get that real life experience, I can't stress how awesome that is. Like, because it's inspirational, and that's not to get off on too much of a tangent, but it's really important for us to be inspired to play, and that's why backing tracks are amazing. It's because you can, you know, get the track, play it, and then you can play along with something that's bigger than yourself, which feels amazing. And yes, you can have computers and iPods, but it's something to be said for something just to be built in. Not everybody wants to have a bunch of gadgets, especially when you talk about portability. You can take it, plug it in, and then just boom, boom, boom. It's just all here. It's literally one button. You just hit play, boom, and you can skip to different tracks. So that's amazing function. The fact that you have built-in rhythms to play with. Again, I hear my kids using it all the time, and they're so inspired by that. You know, so kudos for that. Of course, they have the easy transpose buttons, but you know how I feel about transpose. And then we've got the effects. I love effects personally, and to have the reverb, it does a lot for me in my experience on this keyboard, just straight up. Being able to have reverb does a lot for me. I think for them to put that in here was smart. So smart. And then being able to split and layer. I mean, that's stuff you get on higher end keyboards, you know? And then of course, lastly, the ability to record. So those features are just all the right features, and I think Donner knocked it out the park. I said what I said. As far as the keybed, that is the weak point of this board, is the keybed just isn't as smooth as the Yamaha, and it feels clunky. You know, it feels like a keybed from a digital piano, budget digital piano, if that makes sense. Whereas the Yamaha doesn't feel that way. The Roland has a weird mechanical feel to it, but that's their keybed, and but it still has a smoothness and a quality to it. Whereas this one, it feels clunky. I can play it fine, but it definitely feels clunky. So that's honestly the biggest weak point of this board. The build quality, the features, and the sound are actually really good for the price, and for entry level, and it's on par, should I say. But the keybed, it makes for a lackluster experience. So obviously, I think keybeds are really, really important, because sound, at the end of the day, you can plug a MIDI in, because it's got MIDI over USB. I forgot to mention that feature. MIDI over USB, plug it into your keyboard or into your computer, and boom, now you're playing Ravenscroft or Pianoverse or Keyscape, whatever your favorite piano library is, and you're killing. So sound's easily replaced, but the keybed you can't. So take that for what you will. Now, where do I rank this in terms of the Yamaha and the Roland? That's actually not as easy of a question as I thought it would be to answer. So it comes down to a couple scenarios, and it really comes down to your use case. So in my opinion, the best overall board would be the Yamaha. It's got the best keybed, in my opinion. Best keybed, it has the 1/4 inch out, and then it's got great powerful speakers, and it has just good sound quality. And it's got the metronome built in. Plus it comes with the sheet music app that you can get all for free. I think that's the best overall in terms of quality, fit, finish, the keybed, and the features. That's the best one. Second, and I almost have Roland and Donner at a tie, which is kind of shocking to say, but it's because the feature set is so strong in this keyboard. It kind of depends on your use case. So if you're trying to gig with the keyboard, you got to go Yamaha or Donner. Donner being the most flexible for a gig, because you can literally do a one-man band, plug in your backing tracks, get a microphone, and you can be playing and singing with the full backing track all right here through this board. That's strong. Plus, having 2 headphone outs, not only can 2 people practice at once, so if you have kids, being able to practice 2 kids at once with headphones is huge, trust me. Or just being able to run 2 separate line outs for your monitors. One going in front of house, monitor for the other side of stage, monitor for this side of stage. Like, that's really flexible for a budget keyboard. So, also too, if you're into production, so if you're like trying to not become a piano virtuoso, but you want to just learn how to produce and get into that side of music, I would recommend this. So if you're trying to gig or produce, I'd say the Yamaha and the Donner are actually the better options. Mainly the Yamaha overall, but this one because of all the different functionalities of, you know, having the effects built in, having the ability to layer and split, which is massive for gigs, being able to record, which obviously if you're into producing, trying to learn that, that's a huge feature. Having the backing tracks, again, huge feature. So if you're trying to record and get into the whole entire aspect of like learning more than just a piano, but like, okay, all these different things like backing tracks and recording effects, this is a great hands-on introduction. Of course, you've got DAWs with all this stuff built into it, but again, when you're a beginner, it's all about simplicity and inspiration and being able to have things at your fingertips. And granted, also age range plays a difference. So kids can't tell the difference with that kind of stuff, and for them, it's about what's going to keep their attention. And this excels really well at it. I mean, my kids love to play this piano, and they don't have any complaints, and they're constantly recording ideas and like, hey, come listen to this. So Donner knocked out the park with that. You know, for that age demographic of kids, this is really a killer board. For the serious professional, for the serious aspiring to be professional keyboardists or pianists, I'd say go with the Yamaha Roland, because the keybed is just paramount. You got to have the best experience, and those two have the best keybed experiences. For the professional that wants a practice board, Yamaha or Roland. You know, for me on a personal level, what I would take around, it would probably be either or, honestly, because they both have metronomes built in, and they both are slim profile, and I can make either keybed work just fine. So if you're a professional, grab Yamaha Roland. Just the quality there as far as the sound and really it's the keybed that's the difference. If you're a pro, get the nicer keybed. Everything else can be replaced with MIDI over USB. If you're a beginner and you're looking to be inspired and have fun and share with your friends, the Donner beats all of them. The 2 headphone outs, the ability to record, the backing tracks, the layer and split, this just has more to offer, straight up. yes, you get a lesser quality Keybed, but it's not going to stop you from learning. So if you've got friends and you want to tinker around, or if you got kids that want to play, if you got multiple kids, this is the board to go. And then if you are looking to be a gigging professional, I would recommend the Yamaha. This would be second because Roland does not have a 1/4 inch out. I think that's in their next model up. And then if you just want a nice keyboard to have at home to practice on, then I'd recommend Yamaha and Roland. So I recommend those two, but just for, again, for certain scenarios, this is actually a much better fit. So I hope that didn't confuse you, and I hope that gave you a solid idea of how this keyboard stacks up. Again, I've had this over a year. I have no issues with it. It's playing just fine, just like when I first got it. It's held up it's held up very well. Kids are still excited to play this every day, so I can recommend it. I can recommend it. It comes in at the same price, it'll be at $499, but they have sales and whatnot on their site from time to time, just like every other keyboard company will at some point. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. This keyboard definitely is a bit of a shocker. I did not expect it to hold up so well. And, you know, it took away my notions of Donner as a company. They're solid, they're legit, at least from what I can tell so far. So I haven't tried any of the other stuff, so I can't speak too far about that. But from the two keyboards that I've had a chance to test and demo, the first one I wasn't too excited about. This one's legit. This one's solid. I think solid is the great word. It's solid. Like, it does the job, does it well. It's been used, it stood the test of time. I mean, just listen to it for yourself. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Please drop a comment on which keyboard you'd like me to review next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay saucy.